Cool.
I think we're live. I believe we are live. Let us know in the chat. I'm going to share this out.
Hey, I can see myself on my phone, so I guess that's a sign. Yeah.
How do you sound?
I don't know. Let me pull it up. Let's find out. This will just be a stream of me reacting to myself. It'll be an infinite loop stream.
All right, let's go here.
This will just be a stream of me reacting to myself. Ooh, we're not going to do infinite audio. That would be bad. That would not sound good. So if you're wondering why it looks like I'm recording from a dungeon, it's because I spent like 20 minutes trying to fix the lighting and I still look like, I don't even know where I am. But it's not awful. And I tried to choose a very like peaceful background so that, it looks somewhat okay. But if I turn the lamp around this way, then it looks like I'm being interrogated. So I don't really know. I don't have a whole lot of options, unfortunately.
Hey, it looks perfect. It looks perfect. What's up, Webhead? It's been a while, man. How you doing? Hope you guys are staying safe out there in quarantine land. If you're still quarantined, and let me tweet this out real quick that we're live, and then we'll go from there.
Nice.
Hey, it's tweeted. All right, so welcome to the Dorks Next Door. Our back to live streaming. I'm sorry, there's thunder now outside. It's just been a hot mess trying to get this whole thing started.
There's thunder, really?
Yeah, it's thundering really loud at my house. So if you hear some thundering, that's me. I'm not farting, I promise. No, it's been a while since we've done a live stream, man. I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty excited to get back in it and to get back live streaming again. It's been a while. What's up, Nico? How you doing? Webhead said, I'm doing well. Yourselves? I'm not doing too bad. Quarantine kind of kicked my butt for a little bit. I kind of bulked out a little bit, so I'm trying to lose that weight. Trying to skinny myself again. I looked at a picture from high school, and senior year of high school, I was like 190. And I was like, oh, I miss that. I miss that so much.
Senior year of high school, I was about 120. And only maybe an inch shorter than I am now. I was like a beanstalk. Like, it was crazy.
Well, you were like 120, like soaking wet on a good day.
Yeah. No, I totally, yes. No, that's why I'm trying to grow facial hairs, because I want, like, a face. And I feel like it has been helping. It's been helping a little bit. I don't look like just like a 17-year-old, like stretched out anymore. I kind of jumped from that to like 25. Now I look way older. Now they don't really check my ID when I ask for beer at a restaurant.
See, the last movie I went to, well, not the last one, but when I went to go see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, they checked my ID, and I'm like, I'm 22. I was older than the girl that checked my ID, and I was like, I don't look that young, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably supposed to do it to everyone, no matter what. But I always think it's funny when they don't, because I'm like, hey, I'm doing a good job, I guess.
I don't look like
a child. Yeah.
Nico said Jason is stuck in my early 2000s Windows XP.
I am. This is my favorite Zoom background. I actually have a small catalog of Zoom backgrounds, but I feel like this one is the most apt. I guess it makes me look like I know what I'm doing the most out of all of them.
Yeah.
I'll show you my other favorite real quick if I can remember how to get to it.
Go ahead. That's fine.
You can keep going. I'll try and remember how to do this.
Webhead said, yeah, I get that people say I'm 16 even though I'm 22. Man, it happens. I had a friend in high school that was 3 years younger than me, and people thought he was 4 years older than I was. Because by the age of 13, he had a full-grown beard, like already. And I was
That's
like,
crazy.
this is so weird, man. It's so weird. Gump, what's up, Gump? Zoom the boomer Skype. It really is. Okay, so speaking of The Office, since that is your background, that is a fantastic background. Speaking of The Office, have you heard the Office Ladies podcast? Have you ever heard about it?
I've heard of it. My mom tried to get me to listen to it.
Dude, it is interesting to actually listen to like some of the background stuff of like what was improv, what wasn't, what was supposed to happen, and what wasn't supposed to happen. It's really interesting to see that.
No, I believe that. It sounds really interesting.
And they get like a bunch of like the writers and directors and like actors and stuff to come on with them every once in a while and to talk about it. So it's a lot of fun. I'm like a month and a half behind on it, but I'm trying to slowly catch up because they do it episode by episode. So I'm on season 2, episode. I just finished the Booze Cruise one, so I think episode 12, episode 13, something like that.
Do they talk about every single episode?
Yeah.
Wow.
So right now they're on. I think the last time I looked, they're like halfway through season 3 right now, talking about it. So they're gonna go through and do that. Gump also said, I still get carded at theaters when I want to see R-rated films.
Oh, wow.
That's
crazy.
Well, that happened to me at Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So it's it's whatever.
Yeah.
Jordan Lee, yo, what's up? We're so glad everyone's here, man. It's like old times when we were cramped up in my office like this, trying to record, talking about different stuff.
Now I'm cramped up between a TV and my desk. Except for I have a green screen, so it looks like I'm comfortable.
Exactly. If you fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about a few things today. We're gonna jump in. We want your opinions and discussion in the chat. We'll talk about them. We'll point them out. But it's been a big month for both Marvel and DC as some different things have come out. Some different ideas. We'll talk about some. We're going to start with DC here in a minute, but we always like to start off our podcast and our shows by talking about what we have been into. And I know that there is one particular thing that you have been into for a very, very, very long time.
Only one.
In fact, you have an article right now about it on dorksnextdoor.com. Cheap plug. I don't really care. dorksnextdoor.com about this particular subject. So why don't you go ahead and hit me with what you're into?
And I'm about to have another article very soon. So everybody keep your eyes open for that as well. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the best game ever made. Oh my God. Okay. So version 8.0.0, Challenger Pack number 6, I think, because I don't think Piranha Plant was a Challenger Pack. Challenger Pack number 6. Min Min from ARMS. Is she fun? Yes, she is very fun. She is a very unique fighter in that she doesn't have she doesn't have normal specials. So for a large part of the game, playing as her, you're controlling both of her arms. And that's in midair, that's on the ground, and that's what your A and B buttons are used for the most part. Of course, your up B is going to be your recovery, your up special is your recovery, and your down special is switching between 3 different types of arms. So one of them is kind of like this really quick sort of boomerang arm. One of them changes, the right arm, I think, is the one that changes to another dragon arm to match the left, which is kind of like the medium strength and speed. And then there's this really big, bulky one that looks like a mace, which is a lot slower, but it's really good for KOs. So she's a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun with her. Her animations are really cool. She's a really unique addition to the cast, I think, for a lot of reasons. Not only does she play totally differently, but she's the first character to be added that's not the protagonist of the series that they're from. Even though Sakurai in the live stream, he was like, well, sort of everyone's the protagonist of ARMS. Obviously Springman is the face on the box and Ribbon Girl is the face on the box. But I do like that they went with somebody else. I think that was a really cool choice.
Yeah.
For this one. So for me, great start to the second Fighter's Pass, and I will leave it at that. I'm not going to ramble forever, but I'm having a lot of fun with her. She's really unique.
Cool, man. Well, what I'm into, I've been playing a lot of video games, especially like the last couple months because of quarantine and everything. Obviously, I picked up The Last of Us 2 when it came out.
Oh, nice.
And it's okay. I mean, I don't think it's as good as the first one because none of them hardly ever are. But
Yeah.
I still think it's not as bad as people are saying and making it out to be. But I've really been playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again online, doing the online for it again. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun to do that.
It's a great game. It's so good.
I also found my Xbox 360 during this time, so I have been playing the first Black Ops zombies on that, and it's
I love it.
how much fun that was.
I still play that every once in a while.
Yeah. And I've just been I've been bouncing back and forth between my PS4 and my Xbox 360, just playing kind of everything. So it's a lot of fun. That. Quarantine's been nice to play video games, but it's also kind of nice now to get out and kind of do things. Even though everything's shutting down again here in Tennessee, probably. But whatever. It's that time. It is what it is at this point.
Can't relate. I'm doing everything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I still work in a grocery store, so.
Yeah. Which I bet is a lot of fun right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's a blast right now. Gump, we do need to play games. We haven't played in a long time. I think the last time we played was like GTA 5, and you kept killing me over and over again. And it was just rage-inducing. But yeah, so that's what we've been into, just a lot of video games, a lot of new updates, doing things like that. So we're going to jump into our actual discussion today. We're going to start with DC. I actually forgot to talk about this. I forgot to mention this earlier. But the first thing I want to talk about is DC is actually doing their very first ever, they're calling it DC Fandom, where it is going to be a 24-hour live event, and it's completely free to anybody. You just go online to DC Fandom, and it's going to be like an interaction experience with just the worlds of DC. So I think you're going to see a lot of Aquaman, Wonder Woman. So they're doing a very virtual thing during quarantine and during all of this stuff to kind of get people excited for when their movies come out again, I think. So it's a smart idea. It's pretty cool to kind of see a 24-hour live event for all fans. It's completely free. I think a lot of people are going to start doing this because Comic-Con got canceled. And so I think it's pretty smart to kind of introduce this into it.
So is it like VR chat DC version?
Probably.
Is it like you get it? It's like Travis Scott in Fortnite.
Yes.
Right.
I would assume so. Okay. Which, I mean, I'm not going to lie.
That sounds pretty cool.
My nephews were here, and they're big into Fortnite. And they were playing during the Travis Scott thing, and I totally stole their Switch just for the Travis Scott thing, and it was actually really cool to see that.
See, I've never played Fortnite. I think that's just such an interesting sort of event in culture that happened, like in 2020.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how we get together during this virus and stuff, and we're all in quarantine, and then you put on this virtual concert where there's this giant Travis Scott walking around. I think that's so weird. Like telling somebody about that 20 years ago, there's this online game everybody plays.
Oh yeah.
Every person between the age of 5 and 13 plays this game.
It's probably even more than it's probably like between the ages of 5 and like 30 play this game.
Every single person except for me and like 11 other people.
Right.
Ages of 5 and 30 love this game. Yeah. And then this musician is going to put on a concert where he's going to virtually walk around inside of the game and play songs. I don't actually know what happened. I think that's what happened. But
yeah.
it was pretty crazy.
It was pretty crazy. It was pretty cool to see. So I'm assuming it's going to be something like that or to that extent. Webhead said, will anyone stay for the whole 24-hour event? No. No, I will not. It's probably on repeat. It's probably just the same thing kind of over. Once you've seen it once, you kind of have probably done it. Or they're probably going to have it spaced out for something for each individual movie or character or however they're going to do it.
I wonder what sort of 24-hour event would actually entice me to stay for the entire thing.
Probably something with Smash.
Maybe, but I don't know what it would be.
You know what they should do?
I'm not getting money or anything for it. Like if I'm getting money to watch something for 24 hours,
I'll watch it for 24 hours. Yeah.
But something that I would do for 24 hours for free, I don't know. It's a tough question.
I mean, I've probably binge watched The Office that long.
It's probably it's probably not hanging out with Aquaman. That's probably not what would get me to stay for 24 hours.
I'd much rather hang out with Shazam for 24 hours than Aquaman.
Yeah.
Give me Billy Batson all day. So that's one of the main things that DC is going to be doing. The next one is kind of crazy because no one ever would have thought. When I first read this, I thought it was a complete and total like clickbait article, and then more things came out about it, and that is Michael Keaton could be returning as Batman. As of right now, he is going to. There's rumors and talks of him joining the DC Worlds right now, or Worlds of DC, whatever they call it. Michael Keaton will be picking up the role of Batman after Ben Affleck kind of dropped the pieces and left the role. He will be playing an older mentor role in the upcoming, if it ever comes out, Flashpoint movie, which is very interesting to me that Michael Keaton will be doing that. But the more interesting thing is that the deal that they're talking about is not just for Flashpoint, but it's for like 1 to 2 more movies after that. So he would be a major part in the way that DC is going right now, which is very interesting to me because of the fact that he is still kind of a big part in the MCU right now as well, with Vulture being in Spider-Man Homecoming, as well as going to be showing up in the upcoming Morbius movie, and probably going to be showing up in Spider-Man 3, just a guess, just kind of a shot in the dark. But very interesting to me that he will be coming on as that. Now, the other rumor is that Michael Keaton will be coming back for a Batman movie, a Batman Beyond movie. Which Michael Keaton for Batman Beyond, what are your thoughts on that?
That would be amazing. That sounds so cool.
Really? You think you like that?
Yeah. No, I totally do.
I get it. I don't know how. I feel like this is already a slap to the face of Robert Pattinson before he even kind of gets off the ground with his movie, which, don't get me wrong, if I see Michael Keaton is going to be in a Batman Beyond movie, I'm going to buy the tickets as soon as they drop. It's just, I'm still very, very excited for Robert Pattinson's Batman movie that I kind of wish they would have waited for this. Which is all still rumor. It's all still, it's not confirmed yet or anything, but it still would be crazy.
The only question in that for me is, do they even want to make a franchise out of the Robert Pattinson movie?
That's true.
Because I think a lot of times in superhero movies, we just see Ant-Man and it's like, oh, well, this is going to be a franchise, obviously, especially if it's Marvel. But for DC, especially after Joker, I don't think that it necessarily has to be a franchise. And with kind of the nature of Robert Pattinson as a person, I don't know if he would want it to be a franchise. I think it's very likely that it could just be a one-off project, and then whatever they're doing with Batman Beyond or whatever they're doing with Michael Keaton could end up being more of a Batman franchise. Because if they just have this one-off movie and we're still in the same superhero craze that we are in right now, obviously they're still going to be wanting to make money off of Batman. So, this could be just kind of long-term, future planning beyond what we already have set in stone.
Which would be nice if they're already future planning, because they did not do that before. But no, I think I would be excited about it for sure. Seeing Michael Keaton kind of come back as Batman. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb. If this is true, that will go ahead and probably be the best part of the Flashpoint movie. Because I don't have high hopes for that movie at all.
I can co-sign that.
Yeah. Not expecting anything huge with that. Jordan said playing Fortnite is the equivalent of a pipe dream.
Jordan is right.
He also said 24 hours of someone agonizingly slowly drawing the next character in Smash.
I would watch that, actually. Good job, Jordan.
Webhead said hashtag Batman Returns, hashtag Batman Beyond movie with a smiley face. So I think Webhead is on board with that. And the New World Mom said, I would love to see it. So it seems like a lot of people are on board with the Batman Beyond movie being Michael Keaton, and Michael Keaton being in the future of DC movies. Do you think this will affect him in the MCU at all?
No. I think, it's that, it's that he has plenty of industry credibility, and it's also that, I don't necessarily see them like playing tug of war with each other. I think that at this point, it's not surprising at all that they're like big name guest stars are starting to overlap. I don't think that's surprising at all, just because of the sheer number of movies that both of these companies are making, and the amount of characters they want to include, and the amount of guest appearances they want to make even more money. I don't think that's surprising at all.
Yeah, no, I fully get that. Gum said he's not excited about it, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Both sides.
People are going to go both ways. That's fine. So the second thing I want to talk about is that there were some allegations against Joss Whedon for his role in the Justice League movie. Ray Fisher took Ray Fisher took to Twitter about a week ago today, actually, to accuse Joss Whedon of abusive and unprofessional behavior on the set of Justice League. Fisher said Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. He was enabled in many ways by Geoff Johns and John Berg, accountability over entertainment. And then Joss Whedon and Warner Brothers have not released a statement about the accusations, but Gal Gadot herself has also come out and said that she was unhappy with shooting a scene in the Justice League movie. It's the scene where Flash kind of falls on top of her in a suggestive way. She was not too keen on doing that, so they shot it with a stunt double instead and just didn't show her face. They should use the stunt double to do that. So there just seems to be a lot of accusations going around against Joss Whedon, not just from one or two people, but it seems like a handful of people are coming out and accusing him of this. If it's true, then that sucks. That's very sad that he would be that way. Especially given the circumstances that whole movie, man, there was just the circumstances around the Justice League movie were not good to begin with. And the fact that, it was incredibly rushed. But besides all that, like during the time you had the incident with Zack Snyder's family, tragedy that he faced, that he had to step away from the role. And then Joss Whedon comes in, and if these accusations are true, it's very disheartening, man. It's very frustrating to kind of see this kind of happen in 2020. It's very, very frustrating. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I sighed in the first place because I thought it was going to be more Justice League drama and back and forth between the fans and Joss Whedon and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's definitely very sad. It's definitely sad when people in the entertainment industry are enabled to make, whatever choice they want to make and stuff like that. We just saw, I don't know if you heard about any of this, but huge issues in the Smash Brothers community as well.
There's been huge issues in the wrestling community as well I heard about that. Over like a span of like a week, over like 150 something allegations against trainers and wrestlers and promoters and everything else. So it's ridiculous that in 2020, it's ridiculous that we ever had to face this, but especially today,
right?
There has to be somewhat of an accountability of, it doesn't matter who you are, you don't have the right to treat people like crap, Yeah.
The good thing is that, the abusers being outed is always a good thing, and creating an unsafe environment for abusers is a good thing. And then also, change coming about in Hollywood, at Smash Brothers tournaments, at wrestling events, to make people safer. Events like this are a really, tough thing for people to go through, but it's also a very good thing.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
I mean, it is positive change.
Yeah. Webhead said the thing is, it seems DC's way to upstage Marvel is that they want to use the multiverse, which they establish in Crisis, but I don't want them to force it, which who knows they might. So, that it definitely does seem like DC is going the multiverse route very quickly. Which, especially if the CW shows, because I don't think, I mean, obviously they're not, but then they are because Ezra Miller showed up in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. So, like, I don't know if they're attached, if they're linked, or if they're not. It's very weird.
I don't think they do either.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. But it does seem like they are going through. They're going heavily with the multiverse angle in the DC worlds, which, I mean, that is a very interesting story that they could tell. But it's kind of like time travel in Avengers Endgame. It's a subject that has to be handled very well for it to actually be believable and for it to actually work. It's not something that can just kind of be rushed into and just thrown together at the last minute and say, oh, hey, we're going to do multiverse for this movie real quick. And then everything else just kind of has to fall behind it. It has to be thought out for sure.
Yeah. No, I think it definitely does. I think that if they are planning to upstage Marvel with the multiverse concept, it's going to take many years. And I mean, even I would say upstage is a difficult word to use. I think compete would be a better word to use. But then again, is that the best way to compete with Marvel? I don't think so. I don't think it's to try to go bigger and louder and more epic than Marvel, because how do you do that? You're going to need like 10, 12 years to build up all of these characters,
that's because that's definitely the strength of the MCU of like, we didn't like the first Avengers movie wasn't Avengers Endgame. Like we built up to that crescendo to like, now we're back to square one a little bit, maybe square two more of like, we have to introduce new people to get to this next story. Whereas DC kind of like rushed to get to Justice League, and then they kind of told all their story, and then now from Justice League they don't have anywhere else to really go.
I think what DC has to do, I've said this like many times on here, what DC has to do to compete is to make the best movies that they can.
Yeah.
And that's the strength of their universe, is that they have so many different movies that they can make and so many different things that haven't been touched yet. And they should just make the highest quality films that they can. I think Joker, obviously Joker being Shazam even more than Joker, I would say, being kind of the standouts. Those aren't directly linked into the universe or anything like that. They're not trying to be the most epic thing ever, but they're both great movies.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the most important thing that people are going to come to DC for in the future.
Like, because the thing is, like, if you go back to Man of Steel, which I don't hate Man of Steel that much. It's not my favorite, but there's a lot worse DC films out there. And then you get to like Batman versus Superman. Like, BVS was way too much at once. Especially for the first Batman movie in the DC universe to be, Batman versus Superman. Instead of building up Batman as his own character first and then the two coming together, they kind of threw that out there. And then you get Wonder Woman, then Justice League, right? Or is it Justice League, then Wonder Woman? I always get those two mixed up.
Wonder Woman first.
Yeah. But like you go through these characters really quick, and then you get to the big movie. You get to the big team up movie. Whereas it would have been much more interesting if they took the time to develop each individual character, and then come to the movie. And I'm not saying you have to follow the Marvel outline of like, other characters can show up in other people's movies, and that's totally fine. But it doesn't need to be the main arc of the story. It can be like a little side piece of it as well. Of like, how in the Flash movie, Cyborg pops up out of nowhere, or like Cyborg shows up, to like be a part of it or something like that.
Yeah, as long as it makes sense and retains a compelling story, you can link together some crazy stuff in different movies. I think Marvel has shown that really well. I think some of the Star Wars movies have shown that really well. and very poorly for both. But it has to retain the compelling storytelling. It can't be just about about getting to the next destination on this very vague roadmap of what you want to do in the future.
Yeah. Plus,
about the story.
If all else fails, you can just do the CW route and just have Flash, mess up the timeline and everything goes back to normal. Just resetting it over and over and over again.
Trivialize everything. Yeah, that's kind of the fix-all. Yeah.
Definitely. Let's see here. New World Mom said Cyborg can say whatever he wants with a heart emoji. I think we have a Ray Fisher fan. She also said, I could see someone that has an established record coming in and saying negative things toward a competing franchise. Gump said, I hate the multiverse concept, either one universe or separate universes. There's a reason why they got rid of it in the comics, which is very true because it becomes very convoluted very quickly.
Right.
It can become very messy very, very quickly.
Right. I think that we as humans only have so much of a capacity to track what's going on.
Yeah. And when the creators get confused, then we're all screwed.
Yes. This is true.
Webhead said, yeah, and Marvel is going to do the multiverse thing as well. LOL. I really hope not. Like, I think they are they're going to do the Spider-Verse to make Sony happy.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, but I guess that's true. But I do think I do think that might just be a one-off, and then the rest they focus on the Spider-Verse area, because I feel like Sony's going to make them do the Spider-Verse with Tom Holland and everyone else.
Also, the thing is that it's going to be Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch in that movie, which are really the only two people capable right now in the MCU of tapping into the multiverse.
Right.
So, as far as we know, I guess I'm just kind of assuming that.
Yeah.
But I think it's only going to be a real handful of people, just like in Endgame. Time travel is likely going to be out of the picture after Endgame because it was just like this experiment that Tony Stark figured out. It requires PIM particles. It requires the Hulk has to operate it. Right. It requires all these different things to come together for it. As long as you still have to be careful with something like that can trivialize the entire narrative, and that's why you put it in the smallest box that you can, I guess. Mm-hmm. The smallest narrative box that you can, so that all these things have to fit together to even access that. I'm just rambling. That probably made no sense, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Webhead said also, Gump, they brought the multiverse back in Final Crisis, I believe. I think they did. And then Gump said, yeah, I know, but they used Crisis because things were getting complicated. So it seems like the out is they use multiverse and it gets convoluted, and then they try to reset everything and then it gets convoluted. So they use the multiverse again to reset it all and just go back to square one, which is kind of what it's there for. So that's totally fine. Let's switch over to the other side, the MCU, the other side. They're rivals, but not really, but they are. It's weird. But let's move over to the MCU. We have a rumor for the upcoming Black Widow movie. Not really a rumor if you kind of saw how Avengers Endgame went. So if you don't want to hear any rumors, if you want to go in completely blind, I get that. So you can step away if you would like.
It's also something that I kind of anticipated and expected, and I think that a lot of people are anticipating and expecting too. It could be totally not true. Again, but it's kind of something that's a little obvious. I'll just throw that out there.
Yeah. So Black Widow director Kate Shortland has revealed that Natasha Romanoff will be passing the baton to Yelena Belova. I think I said that right in the upcoming Black Widow movie. Like I said, it's not really a spoiler because of what happened in Avengers Endgame. But it is very exciting. It seems like we're going to get more of Florence in the MCU, which is, she's a very talented actress. Plus Kate Shortland and Kevin Feige both have come out and said that they are extremely impressed with her performance in this movie, which is very exciting to see that. So it seems like she will be, kind of taking the role of Black Widow in the future of the MCU. Or she could be, you never know what passing the baton could really mean. It could mean a lot of different things. Kind of going into to me, the more like the core, I think to me, COVID-19 has helped this movie more than hurt this movie. One, because it's going to be the first Marvel movie after everything kind of reopens, and so I think it's going to be a huge success. But then two, it's kind of like made the intrigue even more as like little stuff starts to come out even more about the movie itself.
Yeah. I would also say is that that's really what happened in the comics as well, is Natasha kind of passing the baton to Yelena. So I think that's a pretty expected thing. But I'm excited for it. It also, that's just one thing. Assuming that does happen, it's kind of just one thing that right off the bat contributes to her sacrifice in Endgame. I have somebody who's still going to be here, who can still fill the role that I fill, who I've trained to do that. Somebody who's got my back there. So I think that's already really interesting, an interesting part of it.
Gump said, why can't they just make new characters? So many other characters to show, and they're like Captain America 2.0, then Black Widow 2.0, and blah, blah. I get it, but you also have to think about it from a marketing standpoint of like, people are gonna come see it because the words Captain America are in it. They're gonna come see it because Black Widow is in it. So I think it's kind of a like to release it out there. But I do fully agree that there are so many other Marvel characters that deserve their own solo movie that I would love to see. Like I can't wait for a Nova movie. We have to get it at some point. And so like I'm dying for a Nova movie. And that's part of the reason why I'm such a big fan of like Disney Plus now, is because we're going to get so many different characters on there that wouldn't probably be in the MCU, or get their own solo film, like She-Hulk and like Moon Knight and Miss Marvel and other characters like that. That part is very exciting to me, but there is a lot of characters out there that deserve to get their own movie and deserve to kind of join the MCU in their own way.
I also would submit that they are introducing so many different characters, even as side characters. I mean, that the entire roster, if you look at the entire roster of characters that have been introduced to this franchise so far through all the different movies, it's completely bonkers. Yeah. And really, I think in a lot of cases, it's also really interesting to kind of have this template for a character and to have kind of an updated or a different version of it. I can't really speak for Yelena, but for one, I am so excited to see Sam Wilson's Captain America. Yeah. Like I'm beyond stoked for that, because he's really a completely different person than Steve Rogers. And that's just one instance, I think, of, kind of updating a character, bringing a new light into, again, sort of like this template. Like he's supposed to be Captain America, but the way that he's going to be Captain America is completely different than the way that Steve did. Once they eventually, I'm sure they're going to introduce Miles into the MCU as well. And the way that Miles goes about being Spider-Man is completely different than Peter.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say like in every single instance, like it's going to be like the most awesome thing ever. But I think that in the comics, they do have a lot of really good heroes, so that when, Chris Evans wants to leave the MCU, when Robert Downey Jr. wants to leave the MCU, or whoever in the future, they do have people to fill those roles. Yeah. They have characters to fill those roles, and I think that's really cool, and a lot of the time.
Yeah. Plus, I would say that like we are getting some far out characters in Shang-Chi and the Eternals. And, I think people are going to come back more. I think people are going to come back more because, like, people are going to come in because Captain America 2.0 and Black Widow 2.0 are going to be there. Different, the same name, but different characters in their own way. But I do think that the intrigue is also going to come with a character like Shang-Chi, with a character like the Eternals.
And Blade.
And Blade, that's why I think the Guardians work so well. Is like you already had your established core characters that you knew were already going to be there, but then they introduced this group of characters that no one had really paid attention to that much, and then it was a mess as well.
If anything, I would say that it's kind of the opposite case in that Marvel is kind of taking more time and, we're going to do Shang-Chi, we're going to do the Eternals, we're going to do Blade, we're going to do Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, all these new things, but we're sort of relegating these older roles, like, the new Captain America, he's going to be on a TV show.
Yeah.
And it's like, not that I think that, every new version, like obviously Spider-Man is getting his own movies and he's kind of filling the role in a way of Iron Man. I know saying that makes a lot of people really mad, but it makes sense. And it's not bad in my opinion, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that a lot of the ways that they're doing the replacements, sort of, really align with how they were done with done in the comics. Which I am really happy with. So yeah. I think they're doing a pretty good job with that. Also, the Hawkeye show is going to introduce Kate Bishop.
Yes.
Which is new Hawkeye, which I'm so hyped for. As long as that show's still going to happen,
Yeah. Yeah. Webhead said, yeah, that's why I'm kind of annoyed with what Marvel is doing. Gum said no one knew who Captain Marvel was, but it made $1 billion, so there's no crushes needed. I do think, think part of the
Guardians, yeah.
But I do think part of the reason why Captain Marvel made as much as it did is because it came between Infinity War and Endgame, and so the intrigue between Infinity War and Endgame, you could have put any movie out there, and I think people would have gone to see it to see if there's anything to give them a clue for what's going to happen in Endgame. But I do agree that it's not really a crutch either because, nobody really knew who Captain Marvel was all that well. And it still made $1 billion.
I think Guardians is the best example, though.
I do think part of that is because, Captain Marvel was kind of like the first female-led superhero movie, Marvel superhero movie. And then Black Panther was the first African-American-led superhero movie. For the MCU, which was, both of them aren't perfect, but I do really enjoy both movies. So it kind of, they both, they work on both sides of the spectrum of like, you could say Captain Marvel came in between Infinity War and Endgame, but I still think it would have done well even if it wasn't in that spot. I still think it would have done pretty well as well. Gump also said, "Give me Nova." I agree with that. I want Nova, please. Webhead said, it feels like a chore really to get through all the new movies and now TV shows, which can suck for someone like me who is more busy nowadays. I definitely get that. I definitely agree with that.
No, and I mean, if I was committed to watching all the DC stuff too, then like I am so bad at watching TV shows and movies. I've really just been focusing on games lately, and I mean work, obviously.
Right.
But in terms of entertainment, it's really, really tough for me too. And I'm still, my goal is to watch every minute of MCU content, because I just want to be the biggest loser, I guess, on the entire planet. So, I am close, but I'm not quite there yet. And I'm really trying to find the drive to finish Iron Fist season 2. Man, that is a slog. Man, I really don't want to, but I'm going to have to do it eventually. Yeah. So I can definitely relate to that, especially having a full-time job and, trying to find the drive to watch the things that I should watch.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. But I would recommend one DC show if you can find it anywhere. Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol is actually really good.
Yeah, I've heard it's great.
That's really good. So I would definitely suggest that. Justin Lee said, I've been on a Marvel marathon lately. I watched 5 movies in a day. So there you go.
I called my dad and I heard the Avengers in the background, so I actually knew that.
Oh, that's great. Some other little stories that we'll kind of cover, and then we'll just kind of talk and go from there. But the Russo brothers recently did an interview with, I believe, Brandon, what's his name, from comicbook.com.
Davis.
Brandon Davis, yes. They recently did an interview with him, which I'm not always a huge fan of comicbook.com, but I think Brandon Davis is probably one of the best journalists out there for Marvel and DC superhero stuff. So I would definitely recommend checking him out.
He's really great. Yeah.
I would definitely recommend checking him out. But a couple of talking points from the interview. One, the Russo brothers said they would love to work on a Star Wars film or project at some point, which I think it's kind of obvious, but I mean, I would be.
Yeah.
I think it would be great.
Yeah. I mean, water is wet. Yeah.
Yeah. Might as well strike while the iron's hot.
I would definitely be down. I mean, I think that they know what they're doing. I think that they're always respectful to source material. I don't think it'll be the most risk-taking Star Wars movie to ever happen, but I definitely think that Star Wars could use a solid movie.
See, that's why the Russo brothers would be like second or third on my list of like people I want to see direct Star Wars films. Number one is by far Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Because of what he did in The Mandalorian season finale and everything else.
Yeah.
I think he would do a fantastic job with it.
Yes. I mean, really, it's also the question of who has passion to put into that project as well.
Yeah.
Which, of course, we never really know unless they just say it. But yeah, I think that Taika would definitely be great for that.
The Russo brothers have also said that the Captain America time travel story in Avengers Endgame would be a great story that they would love to tell. But they said they came out and also said that they don't really know if it's a story that needs to be told, though. Which I'm on both sides with them. I agree with them on both points. It's not a story that needs to be told, but if you want to do like a short little thing on Disney Plus about it, I wouldn't be against that either, because it is a very intriguing story that's just kind of out there. But sometimes the intrigue is better than seeing it on TV.
I would agree with the latter. I would say I would rather keep it an intrigue. But then again, more than half of the entire MCU is a story that didn't necessarily need to be told.
Yes.
Even for how much I like it, even for how much I love that it's there. And for how much it fills in this vast universe, they really didn't,
Yeah.
It's a lot of beating around the bush, which is fine. I like it a whole lot.
Which is kind of what you have to do when you want to do like 20-something movies. You kind of have to kind of beat around the bush before you get to the actual point that you're trying to make.
The entire TV show universe, apart from Disney Plus, which is coming soon, the entire Marvel TV show universe is just kind of irrelevant, which is okay. It's fine. We got some good shows out of that, or at least two.
Speaking of, I just finished season. Which one's on Netflix now? Is it season 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or is it season 7?
Probably 6, yeah.
I just finished season 6, and I loved it. But the end, I was kind of like, oh, again, really? We're doing this again? So I don't know if you've seen it or not. I'm not going to spoil anything, but.
No, I do. That's something I do have to watch.
Yeah,
because I know they're coming out. I think I don't even know. Jordan would know.
I think it's already started. I think season 8 has already started on ABC. Or season 7.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
No, season 7. Sorry. And I think this is the last season too, which is sad, but it is what it is. Gump said, "Get Taika Waititi in there, but people will be pissy. It's the first Star Wars comedy." Yes, they will. But they're going to be mad no matter what kind of. They're going to be mad no matter what kind of Star Wars movie you make. So you might as well just make whatever you want to make and just go with it from there.
Yes, please do. Please. Because that's everyone, problem.
Everyone hated The Last Jedi, but it turned out that was one of the better movies of the new trilogy. So boom.
Yes.
Webhead said, "I just want to see a Cap Red Skull reunion." That I would love to see, actually.
That if they ever brought back, they used to do shorts.
Yeah,
I think that's what I don't even remember if that's what they called them, but just like Marvel shorts, which none of them were like good or anything. They were all just kind of like.
Well, the one they did, that would be it. The one they did at Comic-Con a few years ago, where Louise from Ant-Man went back over and explained everything that happened in the MCU at that point. That one was a great one, but all the other ones did. So yeah.
No, if they did a few like Disney Plus Marvel shorts, I mean, getting Chris Evans back to do like a short for Disney Plus is questionable, and spending the money to CGI in Red Skull and the entire Vormir planet would be kind of a lot. They do have it. Will they spend it? But it would be awesome. I'd love to see it.
I would definitely love to see that.
Webhead also Justin's said, right. Marvel one shots. That's what they were called.
Yeah. Webhead also said # Daredevil's the best Marvel TV show. Yes.
No doubt. Yeah. Yes. It's amazing.
And I don't think it's even close, really. I think it's because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is good.
I'd say, okay, let's position my hand correctly here. Daredevil, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then jump down to Jessica Jones, which I love season 1, but the rest of it is, it's whatever. Luke Cage is all right for the most part. There's Iron Fist and Inhumans, and I haven't seen Runaways or Agent Carter.
You also have the
Defenders. Or Inhumans, but I know it's terrible. So Iron Fist.
You have the Defenders.
Oh, Defenders is right. Well, no, not right above. Defenders is between Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Punisher's above Luke Cage, but below Jessica Jones. Okay. Probably. Maybe. It might be above Jessica Jones. I don't know.
I think I would put it above Jessica Jones.
Because Jessica Jones season 1 is better than any of the Punisher, I would say.
But Punisher season 2 is much better than Jessica Jones season 2. Punisher season 2 wasn't that bad, actually. I was thoroughly impressed with it.
I think it was not very smart, but I also kind of respected for that because it was just like so bombastic and so much more exciting than season 1. It was like,
I think season 2 was much more brutal than season 1 was, by far.
Yeah, like the do you remember the gym fight?
That is the second best moment of the Marvel Netflix
maybe so.
Universe.
Yeah.
Because to me the best moment is when Kingpin freaking decapitated the dude with the car door. And then you had the second one where to me the second one is the Punisher gym fight where he wrecks dude with barbells and weights and everything else.
I put the Daredevil hallway fight up there for sure.
Yeah, I forgot about that. All the Daredevil one-shots fight scenes are just grouped together at number 1.
You know what's tragic is that not a single moment of the Defenders TV show would make like a top 20 best Marvel TV moments.
You don't think the Dragon Underground is top 20?
No. I really don't. The Defenders is so lame. I'm so sad. It's so lame.
It had so much potential too. It had so much potential.
Great characters all around, except for,
So
obviously.
Speaking of Daredevil, I want to get your opinion and everyone else in the chat's opinion. What is the chances or the likelihood that he shows up in Spider-Man 3?
Okay. In Spider-Man 3 specifically, I'd say 1/3 chance. In the MCU in general, I'd say 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, because he could show up in Moon Knight. He could show up in a few other places too.
Because I was thinking if he doesn't show up in Spider-Man 3, he could probably show up in like She-Hulk.
Or She-Hulk.
Because she's a lawyer. He's a lawyer. That you could tie that in pretty well. But I think there's a good chance that he joins the MCU at some point.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously they've taken, leaps and bounds to try and satisfy fan demand, Like they've already done so many things that we've said were impossible for them to do, like over and over again. So I'd say it's solid 50-50.
There's also a report that the Big Show, the wrestler, the Big Show, the wrestler, the Big Show, would like to play Kingpin in the MCU. Which, no, because you're boring. But then 2, we already have a Kingpin that needs to be in the MCU.
Yeah, this is true.
So, I'm not all for like bringing over characters from other properties and like putting them in with all the big boys, but like Charlie Cox and Vincent, what's his name?
D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio. Both of those need to be in the MCU.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're just spot on characterizations.
Gump said 0%. Charlie can't show up in it. Actually, I think he can now. I think because he had to wait like 3 years, and that was like 4 years ago now, or 3.5 years ago.
COVID kind of fast tracked that for us, I think.
Yeah, so he's open to do the role again in the MCU.
Not to mention that Spider-Man and Moon Knight are a ways off. I mean, even longer off than they were before.
Yeah, I think Spider-Man's supposed to come out 2022 now.
Yeah, and Moon Knight probably the same. Early
2022. Webhead said, as much as I would love to say, as much as I would love it to be 100%, I say 20. You have no idea how much comments I've seen that say they want Charlie back. I'd want Charlie Cox as Daredevil back. I don't want anyone else besides him to play Daredevil. And I'm not that way with many characters. Like, I don't want Hugh Jackman to come back and play Wolverine because I think he's done that character enough now that we can like introduce somebody new in the MCU as Wolverine. But I don't want to see anybody else play Daredevil at this point.
Right.
Which, I don't know. It's a little weird. Gum said, no, that's the character of Daredevil, but Charlie as Daredevil is owned by Netflix. See, because I thought Netflix dropped all those. I thought when Daredevil was gone from Netflix didn't own any of those anymore. That they were free to use them.
Yeah, I would lean towards that.
But Gump also said, I want him back so badly, but man, Netflix is pissy with Marvel right now. Probably. Probably because of Disney Plus, I would say so. We also didn't think that we would see J. Jonah Jameson back in the MCU, and well, he showed up.
Yeah.
So you never really know. Yes. You never really know. Plus, we got the whole Disney Fox deal that went down, so you never really know what could happen. Webhead said there's always deals they might make. Yeah, you never know what could happen. I think Marvel would do kind of almost anything to get him in that role and to get him back in the MCU for sure. I'm trying to think. Do you have anything else? Am I missing anything else?
I don't think so. I
think that about covers it. Oh, no, I did miss one other thing. Sorry. There is another rumor that Ant-Man, the third Ant-Man film, how could I forget Ant-Man? That's so sad.
Yes, my boy.
The third Ant-Man film is reportedly now scheduled to begin filming in June 2021. So we got about 11 months before it starts filming again. But it's not supposed to come out until like 2023, I think now.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's pretty soon. Wow.
Yeah. Since I asked you the Daredevil question, let me ask you this in the chat this. What do you think the chances that we see the Young Avengers in Ant-Man 3?
Oh, in any iteration, 75. Yeah. Because of Cassie, pretty much. I would say the chances that we see Cassie, use Pym particles and, do heroic stuff, and Scott's just chasing her around while she does all these things is probably like 80.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think very, very high chances that's what Ant-Man 3 is going to even revolve around, which I am totally down.
Especially if who's directing it? Is it the same guy?
I really hope not.
What's his name? Peyton Reed? Is that his name?
Peyton Reed.
Peyton Reed. Let me see if that's who is directing.
Lord help me. But I mean, Kate.
It's Peyton Reed.
Of course.
He's directing Ant-Man 3. So
Kate Bishop will have already been introduced by that point, and who knows what other Young Avengers are going to show up by that point.
I don't think we'll see them team up, obviously, in this movie, but I do I think we'll see massive hints towards them.
Yes, hints, references to them in some capacity, 80-90%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Webhead said probably 50, maybe a build-up. I think it's definitely going to be a build-up process for sure.
They love to build up their teams.
Yeah, and I think it would probably be a Disney Plus show or a Disney Plus thing, probably the Avengers.
That's what I want.
Yeah, which would be very exciting. Webhead also said, I remember an idea that freaking MODOK was in an early draft for Ant-Man 3.
That's interesting because that's like my pitch for Ant-Man 3 that I made on the podcast a while ago.
I remember that. That would be awesome.
So,
that would be awesome.
Yes, no, it definitely would. I have to dig that up because that was like over a year ago that I was talking about MODOK and Ant-Man 3, but that would be epic.
That would
be best case scenario. if we dumped Peyton Reed, number one, dumped Peyton Reed, that is an abusive relationship between Ant-Man and Peyton Reed. I'm not okay with it. So dump Peyton Reed, number one. Number two, Young Avengers. Number three, MODOK. There you go. Perfect Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, I agree. I feel bad for Peyton Reed, though, man. Because he was in a hard spot anyway for Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
But he didn't do anything to help himself either. And then the first Ant-Man movie wasn't even his idea, really. So.
Yeah.
Was it Edgar Wright?
It was Edgar Wright, one of the best living directors. So, you know.
Sad day.
Indeed.
Talk about. I think that is everything that we have covered. The next podcast that we do, the next live stream that we do, we will probably just kind of films that we have coming up pretty soon. So like we'll probably do Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, The Eternals, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And the one that I'm looking forward to the most fantasy book, and that is Spider-Man 3, because there is a lot of stuff they can do in Spider-Man 3. So that's very, very exciting to see that. Webhead movie will be written by some Rick and Morty writers. Unrelated comic news, there was a Halloween trailer today. I did see that. There is going to be another, I think it's called Halloween Kills, I think is what they're going to call this one. So that is very exciting. Did you see the new Halloween movie?
No, I don't watch horror movies pretty much at all.
But I do think I'm very excited for that. I did see that on Twitter today, and I about freaked out over it. So that's very, very exciting to see that.
Nice.
We're getting a Tron 3 is in production, so we're getting a third Tron movie as well as a second Avatar movie. So yay. But yeah, I think that about covers it. I think that's about it. Do you have anything else that you would like to add or talk about or bring up? Or
No. I just had to fact check that Ant-Man news real quick, and that is very exciting. I'm very excited about that. No, Rick and Morty.
Oh.
Is it Rick? Yeah, a Rick and Morty writer is going to write Ant-Man 3. That is amazing, honestly.
That is very exciting, actually. That is
because Rick and Morty is a great example of a hilarious sci-fi show that does not take any of its concepts seriously at all, which is exactly what Ant-Man needs. It needs to be funny, and it needs to not take itself so seriously. So I love that. Thank you for bringing that up, because I'm much more excited about that now, a little more hopeful.
Well, we'll start a petition to get Peyton Reed off the project. How about that?
Yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it. That'll show everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. We'll be back next week with a live stream. I'm not sure what day yet because our schedules are all mixed up. So we will we'll post it on Twitter about what our live stream day will be next week. But we're very, very excited to be back live streaming. We finally figured out how to live stream during quarantine and staying 6 feet apart, even though we're like 50-something miles apart probably or something like that. But we appreciate you guys tuning in and joining us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Dorks Next Door. Take out the E from next. You can follow me on Twitter at I'm Andy York. You can follow Jason on Twitter at D&D Jason, even though he's not on Twitter that much. You can follow him there. And you can go check out our website at dorksnextdoor.com, just like our Twitter handle. Take out the E from next, where we cover all things Marvel, DC, Star Wars, gaming, wrestling. We also have a link to our merch store on there as well, so you can go click on that and go get yourself some nice, sweet-looking Dorks Next Door merch. that is very exciting that I've been working on. My dog, as you can see in the background, is walking around, so you can see his white tail. That'll get the views up. I should just have my dog in more often.
Now for the website, isn't it dorksnextdoor.squarespace.com?
No, I got that fixed. So now it's just dorksnextdoor.com. Yep. So now we're just dorksnextdoor.com. So you can check us out there. You can check out all of our articles. A big thank you to all of those that are helping us with the articles. I know Jason is writing for a lot of our gaming section. I've done some writing for the Marvel and DC section as well as some of the wrestling stuff. Nico over from New World Nerds has helped me with some of the wrestling stuff, as well as my friend Chris Belcher, who has been helping me with that as well. So we got a lot of people helping us make this kind of dream into a reality. So we're very, very excited about posting things and doing more things on our website as well. But we appreciate you guys joining us. We appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter so you know when we are going live again. And we'll catch you guys next week.